going over the paperwork for R.E. Garrison. I'm going to kind of give you the good, bad, and the ugly about R.E. Garrison. In orientation, they begin by telling you, welcome home. This is your home. This is the place that you've been looking for. Before you go to orientation, you have some online training that you have to do. And that has to be completed and submitted before you ever go to orientation. Now, once you get to orientation, it's pretty standard. There are some nice perks that go with being with R.E. Garrison. I'm going to include some of the slides that they present during their orientation. But let me tell you that their trucks all come with satellite radio at no cost to you. Their trucks are all equipped with Wi-Fi at no cost to you. Sometimes the Wi-Fi works, sometimes it doesn't. Their Wi-Fi hotspots are pretty old and outdated, need to be upgraded desperately. When you go there, if you want a rental car, they'll get you a rental car, and then they're going to take it out of your settlement like the second or third week. Same thing for your hotel room. They're going to cover your hotel room, but then they're going to take it out of your settlement to your second or third week. Company drivers, I don't know if they do that or not. My assumption is that they would. The only thing that R.E. Garrison is going to cover 100% of and not take out of your settlement is a bus ticket. They'll get you a bus ticket at no cost to you from your home to their offices for you to be there for orientation. And to the best of my knowledge, they do not take that out of your settlement. Once you're on their platform, if you want your spouse to ride with you, it's going to cost you like $25 a month, and that's reasonable. Whenever you're there in the driver's lounge, all the food and drink that's in there is available to the drivers at no cost. That's on R.E. Garrison. It's one of the perks. They have different things at different times. Those coolers are filled with drinks most of the time. If you're there during the days they're giving orientation, they bring breakfast in for everyone for orientation. They'll feed you breakfast as well. If you're there and they're serving lunch for orientation, they'll provide lunch for you at no cost to you. They have either 2 or 3 company vans that are available for you to, whenever you're in their yard, you can check out a van, go into town to buy groceries, do some shopping, go out to eat somewhere, something like that. And those are all some of the nice perks that you get as part of being with R.E. Garrison. Your equipment selection is very limited. You're going to get a Freightliner Cascadia. Nothing different to choose from. And from what I understand, recently they went up on the prices for those Cascadias. A 2020 before would cost you about, I think it's like $650 a week. And a 2020, the last I heard from one of the guys that went through orientation like in January or February, it was like around $8 and a quarter, something like that, for the exact same 2020 Freightliner Cascadia. And as I said before, these things come with a pretty steep premium. It is a clear path to ownership, I'll admit that. But now, imagine being with a company that, even though you're on their lease purchase program, they dispatch you and they run you just like you're a company driver. And they don't know how to differentiate. For example, they'll tell you, well, you pick this load up and you take it over to Saputo in Sulphur Springs, Texas, for example. I know that's one of their clients. So you go there and they're telling you that you got to get it there by such and such time. You bust your ass to get it there by that time, and you find out that it's a drop and hook. They do not make appointments for drop and hook because you're not a live load, you're not a live unload. The trailer's already loaded, sitting there waiting on you. It's there whenever you get there. But your dispatcher tells you that you have to be there by a certain time. That's your appointment time. Imagine working with a company. You're trying to work and pay for a truck, and they got sweetheart deals worked out with some of their dispatchers so that this guy that owns a trucking company, he's got half a dozen or so trucks that he's buying from Garrison and leased them on to Garrison, kind of like what you're doing with the lease purchase. And at the same time, he's dispatching loads, and he has other dispatchers working for him. So he's dispatching loads for Garrison. Who's going to get the higher paying loads, you or one of his trucks? Think about it. Imagine working with a company that doesn't understand or appreciate having open dialogue, having two-way communication. When they speak, they want you to listen. They don't want any feedback from you. You might get a guy assigned to you for safety that has the communication skills of a tree and may not fully understand FMCSA guidelines. All he really knows is what he's been told by the powers that be at Garrison. R.E. Garrison aspires to be a mega carrier. Last I checked, they had close to 1,000 trucks. They'd recently bought out a smaller carrier out of Georgia called Bodie's. And it seemed like there was another small carrier they had bought not long before then, but I don't recall the name of that one. But R.E. Garrison wants to be a mega carrier. They want to be on par with J.B. Hunt and Knight Swift and some of these sure enough big carriers. And they really don't have a good grasp on how to do this lease purchase. Yes, it's another revenue stream for them, but it needs some refinement. They've got some bugs to work out with it, and the biggest part that they need to work on, in my opinion, they really need to work on their communication skills and their being more transparent, interacting with these lease operators. You know, you should know up front that this guy that you may be assigned to be your dispatcher, and he has others working for him dispatching loads. Don't you think you should be entitled to know that you're actually competing against him and trucks that he owns, that he's buying from Garrison? I would think that you would have a right to know that. Because if there's a load that's paying, say, $1.80 a mile and a load that's paying $3 a mile, who's going to get the $3 a mile load? That's an enormous conflict of interest. But R.E. Garrison management doesn't understand the concept of a conflict of interest. They put people in positions that they're really not qualified for, because, you know, Johnny over here drove a truck for 5 years, or Sally's daddy drove a truck, you know, for 25 years. My opinion, while it is a clear path to ownership, as I said before, it comes with a premium, but it also comes with a very arduous path that you have to follow. And I'm going to get more involved in that in some coming videos as we're going through their lease agreements. They got one here where they got 2 lease agreements that you sign. One is where you're leasing the truck from their leasing company, which is called Advantage Leasing. And I'll tell you a little something here about Advantage Leasing. When you leave Garrison's offices, if you get on I-65 and you're heading south towards Birmingham, start looking on the left-hand side of the road as you're traveling south. because it's within 10 miles when you get on I-65 there in Coleman. It's within 10 miles of there. You're going to see Advantage Leasing and Sales over there. That's R.E. Garrison's leasing company. And to a lot of the trucks that they cycle out, allegedly they cycle them out at 400,000 miles, but that's BS. But they'll put them on their lot over there to sell or even lease. And they also put other people's trucks up there to sell. And those also come with a pretty hefty price tag. So what I was saying was, you got a lease agreement between you and Advantage Leasing where you're leasing the truck from them. And then you've got your lease with Garrison where you're leasing the truck onto Garrison, Garrison being the carrier. And I won't go through this. It's the lease that you sign leasing the truck onto Garrison is about 31 pages. The lease that you sign with Advantage Leasing, leasing the truck from them, is about 11 pages. But then it's got amortization schedules and maintenance schedules and all of that kind of stuff too. So we're going to get into this and break it all down so that you have a clear understanding ahead of time. Now, I understand that they've changed some things in the last few months, so some of the fine print on here might be slightly different than what I have, but to the best of my knowledge, as of the time making this video, my information is pretty spot on. So anyway, you guys stay safe. I'm going to get back into this, and keep your eye out because there's going to be some more videos coming about Garrison in the coming days and weeks. Be safe out there. I'll see you down the road. Bye.